they did absolutely nothing. They met, they got a bunch of information, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do anything. All right, we'll see you in December, everybody. Peace out.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the UC Board of Regents meeting was. There were some other interesting things I thought about that. Kind of came out that says George Kliavkoff is exactly the guy we thought he was. Because UCLA presented facts that says, no, there's not a lot more travel for UCLA students, because they made a really good point. The Big Ten doesn't have Olympic sports necessarily. So the water polo teams and all the secondary sports at UCLA where they compete in the Conference of Champions, where they win all of their, field hockey.
Blue ribbons.
On rollerblade sport that's not a sport. The Big Ten doesn't play that game. So there's not a lot of East Coast travel for Olympic sports. So the travel impact is far less significant than George Kliavkoff made it out to be. George Kliavkoff, it turns out, actually does not know what he's talking about. And it happened again when George Kliavkoff, and I want to put this graphic up that one of our Twitter listeners sent to us, because I think it's significant when you look at exactly how this is all going to go down. This idea that, nobody wants to have, USC and UCLA in the Big Ten.
Right.
Nobody wants, I haven't talked to one person who wants, them in the same conference.
Right.
Well, George, maybe you should talk to more people, because an eagle-eyed listener of ours sent us this graphic. UCLA athletes believe they need to be in USC's conference. So wait, let me get this right. I mean, you're George flipping Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-10. I'm sure that you went and talked to athletes, right? I mean, it wouldn't make any sense that you would say that you've not talked to a single person, which is what George Kliavkoff said. Oh, I haven't talked to...
Whoa.
What?
George Kliavkoff?
Yeah, the commissioner of the Pac-10.
Bro, how do you come up with these names?
It's a gift.
Okay, go ahead.
So George Kliavkoff says he didn't talk to not a single person. Look, you guys, look. After I was done doing some of my math calculations on the back of an envelope with a pencil.
Right, yeah. Right.
And the envelope happened to be the foreclosure notice on our San Francisco offices, but that's not.
So you have no frame of reference here, Donnie.
After I was done doing calculations on the back of that envelope, I asked this homeless guy on the street, if he wanted UCLA in the Big Ten, and he said no. And so I haven't talked to anybody who wants UCLA in the Big Ten. Nobody's in favor of it.
Me?
Well, unless you actually go to UCLA. I don't know, Kliavkoff. If you go to UCLA, and I don't know, you actually talk to people. Because apparently 93% of UCLA student athletes think it's important to be in the same conference with USC, who, by the way, Kliavkoff, I would remind you, USC is actually, going to the Big Ten. But only 24% of them believe it's important to be in the same conference as UC Berkeley. Well, hot damn. You mean that, wait, and I don't know how to break this to you, Cal is irrelevant? Oh, my God.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
What? What? Cal is irrelevant?
Who knew?
No.
Who the hell knew?
No. Yeah, as it turns out, UCLA actually wants to leave your broke ass behind.
Yeah.
Because 93% of UCLA students said they think it's important to be in the same conference with UCLA.
Yeah.
A, if only Utah and BYU fans felt the same. B, you're a liar, George Kliavkoff. In my opinion, you are a bald-faced liar.
Yeah.
You haven't talked to the people that matter. You didn't do back-of-the-envelope calculations.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't even quote the numbers that you calculated when you were asked point-blank by the media. Said, hey, go ask them. Well, why? You're the one that did the calculations. Oh, because you don't want the follow-up question of, well, what is that actually calculated on? Because
for instance,
you didn't do the work. You're desperate to save your conference, and without Los Angeles and the Southern California market, you're still broke.
Yeah.
And nobody's paying you $40 million. And I love these idiots around the Pac-12. They're like, well, we're going to get $50 million. I listen to the Canzano podcast, And, when he was filleting, George Kliavkoff, it was amazing that George said he did these calculations and we're getting $50 million a year. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And if you don't have Southern California, does anybody want to take a wild guess at why the UC Board of Regents again decided to take no action until December on the UCLA move to the Big Ten? Anybody want to take a guess? You don't have to guess. I can tell you. Because they're waiting to see what the TV deal turns out to be. They're waiting to see, hey, are we getting... Well, George said we're getting $850 million per school per year.
Yeah.
And that we're going to devastate the Big 12 because we're a better conference. Because remember, just ask crazy old tall guy Bill Walton. We're the Conference of Champions, damn it.
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
I mean, and it's true that movie stars pay the rowing team to get their kids into USC, but we're still the Conference of Champions. This conference is a joke. George Kliavkoff's an embarrassment.
Yep.
And the simple fact is, I don't believe that they're going to stop UCLA from leaving. Because the other thing that was very apparent is the financial implications on Cal are not nearly as significant as people said they were. But what happens when the TV deal for the for the Pac-12 comes in and it's $20 million a year from ESPN per school?
You're screwed is what happens.
So what is Georgie Poo trying to do? Well, we're going to keep UCLA in the conference and that'll save our TV deal. Therein at the lesson from George Kliavkoff.
Right.
Well, the problem is the UC Board of Regents kicked the can down the line. So what did that do? That didn't give ESPN any further view into whether UCLA was actually going to be in the Pac-12.
What constitutes a promise?
Apparently some chicken scratch on the back of an envelope.
Apparently.
The Pac-12 is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yep.
You went from the frying pan into the fire, from Larry Scott to George Kliavkoff. You went from the frying pan with Larry Scott into the fire with George Kliavkoff. You're screwed. You're screwed. And the guy is it just is what it is. And the Big 12 is going to wind up with Gonzaga. If they get Gonzaga in the Big 12 for basketball only, then what are you going to do? Then what are you going to do? If they get Gonzaga, what do you do? Because aren't we in an arms race between the Big 12 and the Pac-12?
Gonzaga.
You know. Kurt Meyer says Jake is SS with that BYU chick named Morgan. Well, it turns out Morgan has a boyfriend. She showed up to the game with him last night.
Yeah, and I know she's not Christian, but she is of the LDS faith. So,
that's right,
because it's not going to be a fit for me, and not that I'm even looking.
The Church of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
There you go. Kanai Johnson said you made us look up the S word, Tanner. You created this thing.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, someone, for backing me up on this. It's
true. George Kliavkoff. San Diego State says, and Kliavkoff works too, Monty, since he operates in the space between, you get the rest. Yeah, I do.
Yes.
That's exactly right. I don't know, man. I think this conference is in serious trouble.
It's a dumpster fire, dude. You're not running I feel like they're more interested in running the PR circle than they are actually running the financials of the conference.
And listen, again, I want to make this clear. We have put in an exorbitant amount of work trying to get information on this deal. And from what we've been told, ESPN is the only one bidding for their Tier 1 rights.
With all due respect.
We were told 6, 8, 10 weeks ago that Fox is out on Tier 1 Pac-12. So there's no Do you understand? There's no competition for ESPN, and here's the bigger problem. And nobody else wants to talk about this. ESPN and Fox are partners, and they're doing these deals together for the benefit of both. Do you really think that the structure of that Big 12 deal does not scream, and I'm not saying they're colluding, but does that not scream that they're colluding?
Yeah, colluding might be strong, but what they're doing is they're sharing information and trying to set up the landscape, which is essentially colluding.
Jake?
Yeah.
I need a lint roller for this hair on my face. The point is...
Can I just smack you, or...
I will kick your ass.
What? What?
Could I beat you in a fight, do you think? I think I would just sit on you and you would die. The point is, ESPN and Fox are operators. They're masterful at what they do. And when you look at the way that Big 12 deal is put together, I mean, there's no way to say that they didn't work this out together. Fox wanted nothing to do with Tier 1 Big 12 football.
Yeah.
They're next deep on football.
Yeah.
They wanted Big 12 basketball, and they got a good chunk of it.
Well, and I think it's smart. Like, I think if you're Fox and you understand, hey, we've got a lot of football, like, it'd be good to mix it up with basketball. Like, that's really smart. And by the way, you're not even talking about all the professional sports they already have on the network.
Yes. And, oh, by the way, Tier 3 rights are gone now. Those all belong to ESPN.
Yep.
So there is no win for and I love everybody's like, well, Big 12 panicked. I listened to the Canzano Wilder podcast, and they both said the Big 12 panicked and went out to market early so that
Pull up some Yormark right now. Pull up the Yormark video.
They went to market early because they could.
Yeah,
and I think
because it was a choice, dude.
I think it was exactly the right thing to do. And when we talk about this deal, and we talk about, that the UC Regents will meet again on the 14th, and that they made no decision and took no action, it's remarkable to me. And then you listen to this exchange with Kliavkoff, and you just shake your head.
How many UCLA coaches and athletes have you spoken with to assess their thoughts on the move to the Big Ten?
I think saying hundreds would be an exaggeration. Dozens, more than 100. And I have yet to talk to anyone in the UCLA and USC community who's in favor of the move. I will say that I probably hear from folks who are not in favor, right? Not surprisingly.
Bro, I got to drink something because this guy is killing me.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Wait. When people who actually go out and do the work that you said you would do, nobody wants it? Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. 93% of UCLA student athletes want to be in the same conference. That's the Big Ten. Nobody wants it, Georgie Poo? Are you serious, Kliavkoff? Nobody wants it. And then the worst part of this is you're going up against a guy like Yormark from the Big 12 who's just silky smooth.
How do you look at streaming as part of the television packages you're creating?
I think streaming is critically important. It's a way to reach younger consumers. But I think right now, my goal is to be on the broadest based platform possible because we need to grow some of our emerging brands. We need to distribute the Big 12 as broadly as possible. But there's a place for that digital player. And, currently with ESPN, we have Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. And as we continue the conversations with ESPN, I know there's a commitment to glamorizing us and showcasing us in the biggest way possible on their digital platform. And you'll see that in advance of any kind of extension because we've got 2 more years after this one on our current deal. So digital plays a key component, and it's part of the mix.
What do you do? What else are we supposed
to... This isn't even a conversation, bro.
If you're George Kliavkoff or any of the presidents in the Pac-12 and you watch Yormark speak, aren't you like, damn it, we did it again?
Come on, dude.
You're getting circles run around you by the Big 12, and everybody's like, no, bro, $50 million per school per year. You guys are idiots. You're fat. You're dumb. You're those YouTube hacks. You don't have sources. What are you talking about, chubs? What I'm talking about, it's Friday, and I haven't had
fire and fury.
What I'm talking about is that the Pac-12 is an absolute disaster.
It's embarrassing, dude.
And this whole thing, Kliavkoff is never going to get away from the fact that he said that. You're never getting away from that, dude. You're never, ever getting away from that.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, I don't know who's in a worse spot, George Kliavkoff or Tanner the Super Soaker.
That's right, T.
Because Tanner is still trying to get away from that name. Look at the tape, Salty Drunk. Alex Chacon was the one who brought it up. Tanner, it doesn't matter. You brought up the episode of whatever show it is where they talked about soaking.
Guys, have
you seen that show? Where they sit around, they park the car in the garage. Daddy? And then somebody jumps on the bumper. And they're just rocking the boat, bro. And how many times do I have to say it? If the bumper's rocking, don't come a knocking.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Tanner, you're 100% at fault for the Super Soaker thing.
And it's not even a fault thing. It's an amazing thing on the show.
I'm sorry. Okay, Tanner, you deserve 100% of the credit for the Super Soaker thing.
Yes, dude. It's hilarious.
Because it's amazing.
Dude, it's funny.
And he hates it.
Why do you, and I'm being serious here. I'm not even trying to ball break. Why do you hate it? Like, what is it about the Super Soaker thing that's so terrible?
Yeah.
Because it is funny as hell.
Mike Maples says the Board of Regents kicked it to next month because they have to do math on napkins if they say no and UCLA sues them to leave. Because that's the other problem here. And Maples, as usual, nails.
Yeah, great point.
This is going to court, one way or the other. And then what does George Kliavkoff look like? On a witness stand when somebody says, hey, bro, you got that envelope? No. Do you remember the numbers? No. Where'd you get the numbers? I don't recall. Like, how are you going to answer the question of you won't talk to the media? So you're telling me you won't give the numbers that are so damning and so damaging to UCLA. You won't give those numbers publicly. And then when UCLA shows up with, actual accountants that like do math for a living, you won't give the numbers. And they make you look stupid yesterday when they have all of these facts to back it up. And again, the baseline statement you made is, well, I talk to people and nobody wants them to go. I haven't
misinterpreting what I'm saying.
I haven't heard from one UCLA fan that wants them to go. Not one. They all tell me, you're the best president in the history of the United States. Oh, wrong guy. Anyway, the point is.
Wow.
But but isn't that where we live?
Yes.
Listen, George Kliavkoff, listen to me. George Kliavkoff went on with John Wilner and John Canzano on that fellatio fest of their podcast.
Right.
And was allowed to run out with a hit piece where he said we did back of the envelope calculations that showed UCLA will be far more financially worse if they go to the conference. Well, of course, then there's no follow-up question because why would Canzano and Wilner actually, be journalists and ask, hey, well, where did those calculations come from? How much are we talking about? Are you confident in those numbers since you did it on the back of the eviction notice of the Pac-12 offices from downtown? How confident are you in those numbers? What constitute those numbers? Where did you get the information to back up your number 2 pencil BS?
I have no idea what that was.
So they wouldn't do that, but then the media at Pac-12 Basketball Media Day did that.
How many UCLA coaches and athletes have you spoken with to assess their thoughts on the move to the Big Ten?
I think saying hundreds would be an exaggeration. Dozens, more.
So you talk to dozens upon dozens, because let's be honest, there aren't dozens of Pac-12 basketball fans. There's like 6, right? Good. Bro, you talk to dozens?
Yeah, there's no way.
Guy, actual facts of the case are being presented now. And you talk to dozens, but yet 93, you didn't talk to a single athlete at UCLA because 93% of UCLA student athletes think it's important to be in the same conference as USC. 24% believe it's important to be in the same conference as UC Berkeley. Like, what are we doing? You know what we're doing? We're lying. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
Like, that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah,
My
I guess I'll have
opinion
to figure
is
something out.
My opinion is that George Kliavkoff is a liar.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I know it sounds tongue-in-cheek, but I'm legitimately saying they care more about the PR than the actual financial statement.
Yes.
Like, that's the truth.
I don't even think that that's a reach.
Like, that's the absolute truth. Like, and every time that more stats come out and more people debunk their dumb argument, like it just makes them look stupid. And that's what I'm saying. Like, every time we have this conversation, you'll notice I bring it right back around, right back home. Utah, you better be getting that ass moving. Right? You better be having a plan in place to get to the Big 12, because if you don't, you're going to pay the price. And when Witt inevitably retires and you don't have a great defense to go to Oregon with, you're going to be bad, and you're going to be really bad. And by the time you're that bad, you're not going to have leverage to get to the Big 12, so you need to go now.
Well, and when we talk about stupidity, that would be like going to Home Depot to buy a smoker instead of going to Barbecue Pit Stop, who presents BYU Utah and college football talk on the Monty Show. bbqpitstop.com, the best in the business. It is without doubt. By now, you know my mantra. Support small local business. Support entrepreneurs. Support the people who are like-minded with you. That's why we shop at Barbecue Pit Stop. Oh, yeah, they've got the best equipment. Traegers. I'm telling you, I'm an Ironwood 885 guy. It's just the best in the business. But Yoder, Big Green Egg, Camp Chef, you name it, they've got it. Tongs to play with your balls. You got it, right?
Yeah.
You need equipment, anything barbecue, smoker, pellet, pizza oven, it's Barbecue Pit Stop, right? bbqpitstop.com. But it's the people. We are a week away from Thanksgiving. I can't believe I'm about to say these words.
Yeah.
The holiday shopping season opens a week from today. Do you guys understand a week from today is Black Friday?
Bro.
How crazy is that, right?
Relax.
There's no better place to get dad a gift than Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. There's no better place than to get you a gift, bbqpitstop.com. There's no better place than to buy a Sato seasoning and mail it to the Maverick Center care of the Monty Show than bbqpitstop.com.
Yeah.
I deserve gifts too. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, if you're going to smoke that turkey this Thanksgiving, I'm not even asking you to go there and just get on their website, bbqpitstop.com, and ask them, hey, what's the best seasoning? If everybody does this today, trust me, it'll be amazing. Monty asked me or told me to come here and ask you, what's the best seasoning to smoke my turkey? Because they've got the answer. They've got all the information. They're the best in the business at bbqpitstop.com.
By the way, it doesn't cost you anything to ask.
Nope. Don't be prideful, man. You're going to make them wings because I'm ready for wings. I think Saturday, because the Utah Grizzlies don't play Saturday, I think we're gonna toss some wings in the Asado Sea. Although that's probably the day you're getting back to hanging out with the girl you broke up with over text or FaceTime or whatever it was. So you probably don't have time to make wings. But I'm telling you right now, I'm making wings Saturday, tossed in Asado. I'm gonna watch the Oregon-Utah game up at the crib on my 70-inch flat screen. And I'm going to make wings on the Traeger smoker because that's what pimps do. Pimps are going to pimp. We all know that. BarbecuePitStop.com. Logan, Layton, Salt Lake City, Lehigh, and our good friends in St. George. 5 Utah locations. Tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. A couple more comments before we get to football at 50. Look at Zach Thornton. Honor the boys. Zach Thornton says he gives us a $10 tip. Appreciate you, man. Steven Smith gives us a $10 tip and says, does this type of action by the Pac-12 trying to keep UCLA, will it affect if they get a TV deal done or a streaming deal done? It absolutely will. And I think that's, in my opinion, that's why the Board of Regents, the UC Board of Regents, that's why fight on. That's why they did this, because I think they want to know. But the UC Board of Regents, if we're being totally honest about it, right? The UC Board of Regents are out of touch. They're not athletic-minded people. They're politicians. They're administrators. What I think the missing conversation is having is, what's the domino effect here? Because you're the UC Board of Regents and you're out of touch, you think that by kicking the can down the road and waiting till December, that ESPN and the Pac-12 are going to come to a better TV deal. Well, they're not going to come to a better TV deal, and why would ESPN do a TV deal without knowing if UCLA is going to be in the league? Well, you know why? Because they're not paying more. They're like, hey, let's do a TV deal now. Okay, well then if you're George Kliavkoff, aren't you like, I can't do a TV deal now because I need to know if UCLA is in the league because I'm going to try and step on your neck for more revenue. Nobody won yesterday.
Yeah.
UCLA and their student athletes didn't win. Cal Berkeley didn't win. Kliavkoff is never going to win. ESPN didn't win. Nobody won by them doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Frankly, the guy that took some damage is George Kliavkoff, because this is a guy who now looks even like more of a buffoon than we told you he is, because in my opinion, he got exposed as a fraud and a liar yesterday.
Keep it real.
Again.
Yeah.
Because, people actually went out and did the science and they did the data.
Doesn't make
and they
you
did
feel
the research.
responsible.
And 93% of UCLA student athletes want to be in the same conference with USC. Oh, but nobody wants to travel. Yeah, they do. Nobody wants to go through those academics. Oh my God. Look at these calculations. Oh, I mean, I didn't, I did calculations on the back of an envelope, but you can't see it.
Fucking A.
Ha ha. Like that's what we're doing here. We're children.
Yeah.
We're children. You know, like, hey, it smells like crap in here. Are you the one that pooped yourself? No. Like, yeah, you did. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. That's what we're doing. Did you do calculations? Yes. Where are they? I'm not sharing them with you. So no, you didn't. Like, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's how stupid this is.
Yeah.
Nobody wins. Nobody wins.
Okay, Tanner's taking it to the next level.
He is.
Scroll up a little bit.
Oh, God.
Right there.
Tanner says, all right, it's time to end this super soaker nonsense. Mont, I'm sending you the tape that proves that Alex Chacon was the one who brought... Guy, it doesn't matter. Tanner, do you remember the name of the show?
Oh, my God.
Do you remember the name of the show he brought?
Dude.
Tanner, the way that Super Soaker started was that Tanner brought up, I think, a reality series or something, or the scandal.
I don't know the name of it.
There was
It's
a
like,
scandal. I can't remember that whole scandal thing where the lady and the kids and your mom and her cousin, like, that's where Super Soaker started. Own that. You're the one who brought up the whole thing with that TV show that you mentioned. You just got to own it, bro. You just got to own it. One thing led to another. Greg Hawkins, you're a stud. BB says, little late on the comments, but seriously, we do need more invested Jazz content. We wish you guys ran Jazz Media, not whoever is running it now. We're trying, man.
Well, I mean, look, man, if you want to support what we do, go and subscribe to the Utah Grizzlies.
Yeah, if you want to support our content creation, go and subscribe to the Utah Grizzlies YouTube channel. Go and watch the games. Like, give us a thumbs up on all of those. Like, that really helps us grow. That's the biggest thing. You want to support our content? Go and support our sponsors. Go and support our partners. Go and support our good friends at Football at 50, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. I'm waiting for you.